taking place to build a modern facility that can help train the workforce, the police force of the future. It will have modern amenities, and it's going to expand our capacity. I mean, we'll be able to have some of the biggest academies we've ever had in Long Beach history at this facility. We'll see what the capacity is, but you can get as many as 100 people through an academy with these upcoming facilities. So this location is certainly special. Earlier last week, we welcomed 29 police recruits, and the next class will train at this very place. So this place will be open next year. That is 3 classes that we've graduated, 3 academies we graduated in 18 months. That's a significant amount of work on behalf of our police department, our civil service team, and everyone making that happen. Because I remember when I first started in the city, we were lucky if we got 1 police academy done in 18 months. I think Councilmember Uranga remembers that. But we delivered 3 academies, which is an incredible amount of work. Today, we're going to focus on FY25 and how we're going to improve quality and core service delivery that our residents depend on. As Long Beach's 29th mayor, it's my honor to present the FY25 budget alongside our city manager, Tom Modica, and our entire city team, including Eric Lopez. And it's our responsibility that's outlined in the charter every single year that the mayor shall submit the proposed budget recommendations to the public and the city council before August 2nd, which brings us to today. Leading up to today, we've been spending a lot of time at home with the kids watching the Olympics. And I have 2 girls, most folks know, and they are pretty inspired watching folks like Katie Ledecky and Simone Biles and the women's water polo team, which trains right here in Long Beach. And, every day they're in swim camp this summer. And to see them after the Olympics go to swim camp, challenge themselves to go up to the next level of intermediate, and I'm getting videos of them doing backstrokes and trying things they've never tried. And that's always a reminder of what our job is here. It's to inspire the next generation and to provide as many opportunities as we can to inspire our young people to achieve their highest and best potential. And we have some real opportunities to do that here in Long Beach, whether it's a job in the public sector, filling the ranks of public service, or enjoying our parks and recreation, our youth programs, as we invest in improving our facilities over the next 4 years as Elevate 28. As stewards of the public trust, it's important, it's our responsibility to ensure that the city budget is balanced, it's efficient, and adequately meets the needs of our diverse and vibrant communities who call Long Beach home. The FY25 budget outlines a plan for a strong, sustainable, and inclusive future. Today, you'll hear the highlights of my recommendations in FY25. You'll also hear from our city manager, Tom Modica, who will go in depth, providing an overview on the proposed budget. And then you'll also hear from Public Works Director Eric Lopez on updates on our exciting progress on our Elevate 28 capital improvement plan. So I want to start just by simply highlighting some of the challenges and the opportunities ahead. For decades, Long Beach has provided critical services using revenues generated from local oil production activities. And with the shifting legislative landscape at the state level and our city's commitment to climate action over the next decade, these oil production activities will gradually come to an end. And additionally, with the end of federal recovery dollars in the next year, the city's projected shortfall as well in the years ahead, there's greater urgency behind our efforts to diversify our city's revenue base and transition to more reliable alternative revenue sources. And despite these headwinds, I'm pretty optimistic about our progress we've made over the course of the past year and the steps we're taking to prepare for this new reality here in Long Beach. Over the course of the past year, we made some real progress. We reduced homelessness for the first time in nearly a decade here in the city of Long Beach through partnerships, through investing and making it a top priority of our city. You'll see some of that continue this year. We broke records on affordable housing production. We welcome new companies to Long Beach that are bringing good paying jobs with economic vibrancy with them, from VAS to Ford Motor Company. We're seeing a lot of excitement. We launched a Grow Long Beach initiative that's showing some real results and some real promise. And we've placed a real focus on hiring and improving our city services over the course of the past year, and we're going to continue that effort over the course of the next year. And again, we launched Elevate 28, the biggest capital investment plan our city's ever seen, as well as with an extra degree of transparency with the lblelevate28.com website and just real excitement over the course of the past year. Now this year, the Elevate 28 budget accelerates this momentum forward by focusing on 4 core priorities for building a more prosperous future for Long Beach residents, neighborhoods, and businesses. So we're calling this the Core 4 budget. The budget is a series of strategic and intentional investments designed to grow our economy in new, more sustainable directions, improve our core city services, reduce our reliance on oil revenue, and build a stronger financial future for our city. Our 4 core priorities are as such. 1, expanding and improving core city services, optimizing our city's capacity for growth and revenue growth, connecting our community to opportunities. As we grow our new economy and transition to a new economy, if we don't make sure that our residents feel connected to and our small businesses feel connected to it, then we haven't done our job. So reconnecting residents to opportunity is a big focus in this budget, in my recommendations. And then continuing our focus on the environment and climate. So let's talk about how we're going to improve core city services. When we meet with residents and neighborhood groups all across our city, we often hear about the need to place a bigger focus on keeping our neighborhood clean, improving our sidewalks, keeping our streets in good condition, keeping our neighborhoods safe. And so I'll tell you, we've heard you, and we continue to hear you loud and clear. This budget is a part of FY25. We're placing a deeper focus on improving quality, visibility, responsiveness of our city services. So every resident in every neighborhood has access to the resources that they need to live with dignity and peace in mind. Here are some investments that are helping to protect public safety services, address affordable housing and homelessness, and ensure clean and vibrant neighborhoods for our family. This budget sets aside $4.8 million in fire safety measures, including fire station enhancements and improving ambulance response times. There's more than $1 million for Long Beach Police Department Crime Prevention Unit. You'll hear more about this from our city manager. That has helped to address crime trends, and we're going to continue that effort. I mentioned before that this next year we're going to be opening our police training academy. This is a massive effort, and we will see the benefits of those efforts in this upcoming year. This budget also has a recommendation from the mayor to add about $550,000 to expand crime prevention through environmental design initiatives like neighborhood lighting and interventions to reduce gun violence, and additionally public education on hate speech and hate crime. We're continuing our progress on homelessness. We've got real momentum, so we're going to maintain that momentum. And much of our progress on homelessness was made possible due to the partnerships that we've established across the state, federal, and across our region. In this year's budget, we are continuing to place a real focus on partnerships by establishing Long Beach's first Office of Homeless Strategy and Partnerships to expand the capacity and coordination of shelter and outreach services here in Long Beach. We're also calling for the continuation of funding for the Tenant Right to Counsel program to help folks have the resources to stay in their homes. And in the spirit of partnership, we're also working with the Port of Long Beach to explore affordable housing options that promote public health and economic resilience in port-adjacent communities. Now let's talk about our work to ensure clean and vibrant neighborhoods for Long Beach. Last year, we brought in our in-house slurry seal program that's really improved our ability to expand our ability to protect our streets. This year, we'll be continuing that effort. You'll hear a little bit more about this from City Manager Modica, but we're expanding that effort by bringing in-house a concrete program. This is a big deal. This allows us to move quickly and be more nimble on sidewalks and curbs and gutters and street repavement jobs. So this is a really important enhancement on delivering quality services to our residents. We also direct $14 million, almost $15 million, to launch the city's organic waste collection. This is a big endeavor for our city. And we also are continuing our commitment to young people and to youth. This is something important to me, important to our city. The total fund in the youth fund is now at $1.1 million to support youth participatory budgeting, increase investments into citywide youth priorities, youth arts education, arts equity initiatives. So we're continuing our focus on youth. Now, a key priority in this budget is optimizing growth for a sustainable, resilient economic future. In 2023, we launched Grow Long Beach, and this is a strategy focused on unlocking the potential of our fastest growing industries in Long Beach, like space, like ports and goods movement, like clean technology, and tourism. And one of the largest venues, we're going to be one of the largest venues for LA 28 and the Paralympic Games. And with all of this progress, we are pursuing an ambitious set of strategies to optimize our potential for revenue generation and economic growth leading up to 2028 and beyond 2028. And this FY25 budget, we are making investments that accelerate those economic growth opportunities and places a big focus on small businesses to ensure our entire city feels the impacts of these investments. So what are we doing to accelerate economic growth? So I've talked a lot about the need for ease, speed, and predictability when working with our city planning programs and dealing with a city hall. And we have somewhat of a balance that we have to make. We have to focus on big transformational projects, but we don't want to take a focus on the projects that are important and the plans that are important for North and Central and West and East Long Beach. So how do you balance that to ensure that, hey, if we're going to place a focus on Queen Mary and Amphitheater, we're not taking focus away from improving the quality of life in the neighborhoods? And so to ensure that we are giving the attention to both the signature projects and maintaining our focus on our project citywide, I'm recommending we establish a new signature projects division in community development that will streamline major projects like the redevelopment of Queen Mary, the Long Beach Convention Center, Alamitos Bay, and the new signature amphitheater that we're bringing on in the next fiscal year. Long Beach also has a number of revenue-generating assets that are beginning to produce real results for our city, but we need to do more. We're seeing profitability come out of the Queen Mary that we've never seen. We're adding new revenue-generating assets like the new amphitheater. It's important that these assets are coordinated and managed well to deliver a better experience for visitors and tourists, but also to generate more revenue in critical vulnerable funds, especially Tightlands and especially our general fund. So with that in mind, I'm recommending that we create a new revenue innovation and strategy and enhancement division, RISE, RISE. The RISE division in economic development to better leverage and coordinate our public assets, pursue new revenue generating opportunities, and ensure the best possible customer experience. Next, we're continuing to invest in marketing, advertising. We're putting $500,000 into the development of, we're putting $500,000 into both the development of an entertainment strategic plan and additional arts activities around entertainment, music, performing arts, and documenting our history as we lead up to into LA 28. And this year, we're continuing our focus on small businesses. They are indeed the backbone of our Long Beach economy. So you'll see support to continue to support our visual improvement grants. You'll see funding to continue the incredible outreach that the BizCare team is doing. You'll see broadening collaboration with the Long Beach Economic Partnership to continue to attract support for our small businesses and engage our small businesses. You'll also see $500,000 to support our business improvement districts with clean and safe activations, as well as continue our Level Up Long Beach, our Level Up Long Beach Extreme Small Business Makeover program. That program is a mouthful, but it's going really well. Now, these activities are going to bring more businesses, more resources, more people into our small businesses and restaurants. That, in turn, creates more revenue for our city, more jobs, and more economic opportunity. But that's not enough to simply create the opportunities. We have to ensure that our residents in Long Beach also take part in these opportunities. So our next big focus is really about reconnecting residents to opportunity. So here's some key steps that we're taking. Long Beach has a world-class workforce investment network at Pacific Gateway. And with the changes to our economy and the new emerging economy we have in Long Beach, it's time to revamp and modernize Pacific Gateway to better prepare our local residents for opportunities to work not only in the new economy with space and goods movement, but also in the public sector. And to ensure that our communities that have historically been left out of opportunities are included, I'm recommending that we restructure this organization to the Long Beach Workforce Investment Network. So no longer Pacific Gateway Workforce Investment, LB-WIN, with a real focus to align its missions and its objectives to connecting as many Long Beach residents to opportunities of the future and opportunities in the public sector. So we're taking big steps to modernize. We're already taking a lot of steps to modernize our hiring and civil service systems and establishing local preferences for public sector union jobs and city government. But we want this new mission of LB-WIN to really highlight the pipelines and connect our residents to the opportunities to work, not only in the city, but in the private sector as well. We'll be continuing to support the Long Beach Public Service Corps program, offering recent college graduates and college seniors the opportunities to get hands-on integrated educational experience at City Hall. This year, we had a class of 50 fellows who were all over our city. Pacific Gateway did an incredible job managing this program, and these young people are inspired and pumped up for the future. Who better to fill the ranks of city employment than people who are educated or live or raised right here in the Long Beach community? We're also investing in an economic inclusion action plan to make sure that the progress we're making is inclusive so that small businesses and residents feel really reflected and represented in the new economy here in Long Beach. Next, we're creating opportunities for our residents to really see the benefits of economic mobility. So we're continuing to support programs that really support these opportunities. So we're expanding the first-time homebuyer program. This is a program that is in its second year. It was initially a Recovery Act program. I proposed this as a council member, and it's some real success. And we want to continue to expand this program. We're continuing the Immigrant Justice Fund, citywide language access program, and the budget provides additional resources to launch a public service student debt relief pilot program to support retention and recruitment of city workers. This next generation is dealing with more student debt than ever, and we want to do what we can to acknowledge that and make sure they know we have their back when they come work for the city of Long Beach. We're also putting forward additional resources to help stabilize early care and education sectors, expand child care tuition assistance, and provide targeted outreach to support barriers to families looking to re-enter the workforce. This was something we learned during the pandemic. It is essential that we as a city take a part in making sure we stabilize our early child care and education sector. This year, we're also maintaining our commitment to the environment with historic investments into our environment, natural habitats like the El Dorado Duck Pond that we opened up just a couple months ago. There's a lot more to do. This budget places a focus on improving our beaches, our waterways, our parks, our urban canopy with millions of dollars in Elevate 2028. You'll hear more from Eric Lopez. This budget, we're also leading the way on greening our open spaces, particularly in neighborhoods that are bearing a big burden of poor air quality and environmental health challenges. And we're expanding our green infrastructure, reduce greenhouse gas initiatives, emissions, improve air quality, and advance our climate goals. And much of this was made possible to the work of our city auditor, Laura Dowd, and conducting an audit to identify additional resources to invest in this effort. So I'm recommending that we make some investments to help boost our tree canopy. We're just 2,000 trees away from getting to 100,000 trees. I think we can set a goal to get 100,000 trees planted by 2026 and get over that 100,000 tree goal. So you'll see some resources to help provide the technical support to make that happen. I'm recommending that we support citywide tree planting and habitat restoration programs, tree trimming, maintenance, parks, expanded beach cleanups, $4 million toward energy efficient upgrades and sustainability enhancements at public parks, open space, West Long Beach, North Long Beach, Willow Springs, to grow our Long Beach's canopy and to invest in open space. And we are recommending $1.8 million to help procure a new trash interceptor barge at the San Gabriel Valley River to improve water quality throughout our watershed and across our Long Beach coastline. So this budget increases our capacity to do the work that's necessary to also transition our fleets to zero emissions. So we have staffing investments to advance the Clean Fleets project to make sure that we continue our national leadership on zero emission fleet. We're recommending that we add $5 million in additional greenhouse gas reduction efforts that include electric vehicle charging stations. It includes park energy efficient lighting upgrades, cool roof replacements at libraries and at police stations. We're also bringing in-house our bike share program. We're going to leave that for City Manager Modica to talk about. And also, we're recommending to add $1 million to extend the Long Beach Circuit. This is a program that's in the shore and in downtown, and with this additional funding, we can continue the program and explore adding a third zone to the program because the circuit is certainly a success. So as I close, I want you to know that our city is at an important moment of transition, and we're making important investments. And by making these investments and placing a focus on these key areas, we are preparing our city for growth. We're making sure our residents feel connected to that growth. We're continuing to deliver quality city services while leaving our city in a strong financial place. So these were highlights. This is the Core 4 budget. So to provide a holistic picture of the budget, I'm going to invite the manager up, Tom Modica, to the podium to walk us through the FY25 budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we're excited to be here today. This is one of the most important things the city does every year is create its financial plan with input from the community to be able to really lay out our priorities and our fiscal priorities for the next coming year. And so we're building on a really great base of things that have happened in the past year, just to give some tangible examples of where those dollars go. We reduced homelessness for the first time, as the mayor said, since 2017 by 2.1%, when a lot of our partner agencies are continuing to increase. We're a housing leader, a record 3,039 housing units, and issued building permits for 1,000 units, including we're the leader in ADUs in the state of California per capita at 673. We've launched what's called our Mobile Access Center. Those are our direct services to people experiencing homelessness, and that now goes to 16 new locations per week citywide. We've continued to invest in our police officer hiring and having one of the most aggressive packages to recruit and retain our police officers with the goal of onboarding 100 new deployable police officers in 2024. We invested in our largest fire recruit academy ever in our history, and addressed some of the workload fatigue that was happening in our fire department. Last year, we successfully approved all of our labor agreements with our 9 non-public safety labor groups. We continue to focus on hiring and implementing the talent acquisition division in the human resources department, and the goal of improving the recruitment process for unclassified services. A personal favorite of mine is we used to get a lot of complaints about our bathrooms, our bathrooms in our parks. We have 54 freestanding restrooms. We put together a very innovative program. They're now visited 4 times a day and closed at night and open back up in the morning, and the number of complaints has dropped dramatically. And Future Long Beach has enrolled 768 young people young people across all of our programs. One of our big successes from the Recovery Act, we'll talk about a little bit later today, is our BizCare program. They assisted 1,000 businesses through our hotline, many of which in language for people that need that. 71 businesses at in-person pop-ups. We visited 1,000 businesses to provide support and information on all of our programs and resources. We've continued the evaluation of the feasibility of the amphitheater, and we hope to have news on the next steps on that in the coming week. We celebrated our 100th anniversary at the Long Beach Airport, and we continue to have the largest investment in infrastructure in our generation through the Elevate 28 plan, and it's even going up, as you'll hear later today. So our budget is $3.6 billion across 36 fund groups and 24 departments. We are committed to providing those core quality public services and investing in the community. And this budget makes investments that will pay dividends in the future, as we're trying to be very future-oriented in this budget. And we're aligning the city for stabilization today, tomorrow, and well into the future. So as we know, we do have structural deficits, and those have been planned, and we've been talking about those for a while. It has been getting better. We've been trying to work on some solutions to keep that from growing and actually go in the opposite direction, and that's part of what we're reporting today. We had originally in January predicted about a $28 million structural deficit for the coming year. Through both expenditure increases and revenue increases. In March, we reported that shortfall was down to $23.5 million. For the 5-year projection, we had looked at about an $80 million impact over the next 5 years. In the last coming months, looking at a number of different revenue assumptions and cost expenditures, we're now looking at about $61 million over the next 5 years. So still something serious we need to pay attention to, but it is getting better. In terms of this budget, one of the goals was, while it's not a cuts budget, and we've said that early on, we have one more year of Recovery Act, we wanted to make sure that we're reducing the amount of structural deficit as much as possible. And so any of the additions that are in the budget that are structural are all being offset by revenue or through efficiencies within the department. And so it's actually improved from that $23.5 million deficit. This year is actually going to be 20.3. And then using one-time dollars to be able to invest in some of the things that we hear from our community. So about $10.4 million in one-time investments. The mayor mentioned this a little bit on oil, and so we're planning and getting ahead. We know that oil is not in our future, and we need to make sure that we're not relying on it in our operating budget. If oil dollars do come in, as we have these, these abilities to come in, we're going to use them to pay down debt, for one-time dollars, for capital projects. But over the next 5 years, we're planning to come off of oil in the general fund. One of the big things that's happening this year is the conclusion of the Recovery Act. That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We ended up receiving $296.9 million in Recovery Act dollars. The city's allocation, just to put that in perspective, the direct allocation was about $130 million, but through grants and through all of the different operations and all of our work, we brought in almost $300 million, which is larger than many of our city budgets around us, our neighboring cities. And so we've supported more than 80 programs. We put that money not just into the city's budget. That was only a small portion of it. We put most of it into residents and help them recover, and into businesses and help them recover, and that's really paid off. But some of it had been used for our city deficits to prevent service reductions. It was supposed to be about 2 years. We managed to stretch that to almost 5 years. But that money is coming to a close in December of 2024, and so we are planning to conclude most of those programs, and then any additional savings would be able to help us with any future deficits. But we also are trying to preserve some of the Recovery Act programs that were the most impactful and the most needed by our community in the budget. A couple of the examples of those is our, you see on this list, our Be Safe program. We have been investing in business services equity to be able to work on purchasing with our local businesses. We want to keep that. Our language access program, risk management and vendor compliance, biz care, health equity, reentry, and sidewalk vending are a number of the programs that we found resources to prevent from going away. Otherwise, they would have ended under the Recovery Act. We have a couple that are transitioning out, and all of this will be available in the budget book, including also the ones that are closing out. But to be able to do additional youth mentoring and early childhood education, first-time home buyer, reentry and youth, our community crisis response pilot will continue for another year. Early childhood education, nutritional security initiatives, our healthy food market, safe passage, and sidewalk to success street vendor support will continue as those dollars are transitioned out over the next year. And so a big priority for me as city manager when I was first brought on was to help align what we do with a strategic vision. The council really embraced that, and we put together an effort of our strategic vision 2030, one we hadn't had in many, many years. And so we align our budget to that vision, and it also is aligned with the community input that we hear early on in the budget process, and then again in August. And so those top-ranked themes that the top themes that we get from the mayor and council are economic development, public safety, and housing and homelessness. What we heard from the community was very similar: public safety, housing and homelessness, and education. And in January, the main focuses were in education, housing and homelessness, climate and environmental sustainability. So I want to go a little bit into each of those those 9 focus areas that are in our strategic vision. The mayor touched on some of these, so I'll go quicker on those. But one of our big investments in homelessness is the Office of Homeless Strategy and Partnerships, which will really help to bring in additional dollars, focus our additional work on homelessness. We continue to invest in tenant assistance program as a way to prevent homelessness, and so adding $375,000 in one-times. There'll be some carryover from this year, and so we expect next year we'll have about $1 million in that program. In the Justice Fund, we have one-time funding of $500,000, which is also part of our prevention programs. We have $300,000 in structural funding, an additional $300,000 in carryover. That'll bring us to about $1.1 million. We're investing in some planning for housing policy. We also are investing in 2 new positions that'll help us with mostly citywide park cleanups in homelessness as we continue to work on offering services, but then also making sure the parks are usable for everybody. In the area of public safety, we have $200,000 for our violence prevention program. We have more violence prevention programs now, thanks to the Recovery Act, than we've ever had, and so we're continuing to invest in those, and a lot of those go to our community partners. Our police department will have $1.3 million for a high crime focus team that they use through data and through community concerns to be able to address violent crime. Police department will be adding a communications position to help produce videos that enhance transparency and accountability. We're investing in our DNA efforts, being able to eventually get to a point where we can do our own DNA analysis, but have those leads that work with our county to make sure that we're getting DNA data back. And our police department has been saving dollars to be able to reinvest in body-worn cameras and also expand the program so that we have even more officers and security officers with body-worn cameras. In the area of the fire department, last year we did a what's called a peak load program. We had a number of areas where we weren't serving on ambulance as much as we could be, and so we added a peak load program. We're going to be adding that again for $500,000 and be able to, on certain days, have an additional capacity in the fire department. Our costs of providing EMS services have gone up pretty dramatically, and so $1.2 million will cover the cost of additional medical equipment and repair costs. We're making a lot of progress in our arson investigations. We added some temporary resources this year, and now we're adding them permanently to be able to get that caseload down. We're investing in our Fire Recruit Academy for $2.1 million. And a big priority for myself and the chief is a professional standards division in the fire department to continue to work on transparency and equity and training and support our firefighters and make sure we have the highest quality standards. Economic opportunity and equity and resilience. We're structurally funding that BizCare program. It's going to be a slightly smaller, not 5 positions, but 4, but be able to continue that work. And we're continuing to fund the visual improvement program. We've got funds for cannabis equity. We are investing in a revenue opportunity to advertise on our city vehicles, particularly our refuse vehicles. We're continuing to invest in Meet Long Beach. They have been helping grow our transit occupancy tax every single year, and so to continue that work to grow that revenue source, and also adding some support for our Olympics preparation and citywide grants. In the area of education, we're going to be renaming the Library Services Department to Library Arts and Culture. We kind of previewed that last year, and that's been really well embraced by our community, by our partners, and also by our employees. And so that'll be the new name to really focus library not only on the great library services they do, but also recognize the work they do in the area of arts and culture and bring all that together. Last year we had some security challenges at Mark Twain Library, and that was the #1 request from our library services department, now Library Arts and Culture, and so we're funding the security guard there with a city staff person. Also to be able to do some of the maintenance projects in our libraries, which are important, and also fund College Promise program partnerships. We're going to be investing in our youth festival. We're also, as the mayor mentioned, investing in youth grants. We heard a lot of support from our community about youth grants, and so $400,000 to be able to do that grant program to the community. Increasing some funding in our junior guard program, and also our police cadet program. So working on pipelines for getting kids interested in public safety and getting them in the pipeline to be able to be police officers in our community in the future. We have a lot of other programs in the budget. Just remember, these are the ones that we're talking about enhancing, but we really have a big focus on youth and the youth fund and youth investments, so there's a slide on those as well. Environmental sustainability and climate. One of our big investments this year is really investing in EV infrastructure. There's some very aggressive goals in the state of California to get cars that are city fleets to 100% green power. We're one of the leaders in the state, and we've been doing this work for many years, but there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be done. So we're going to be investing money in a number of trucks and vehicles. Another one that's kind of neat is we love our Trees on the Bay. That's a long storied tradition. I'm not sure anyone noticed, but we piloted one last year just to see if anyone would notice, and did it with LED lights that were solar powered instead. And now we're going to be transitioning all of them to LED solar lights. So that's a great way to both save energy and also help get those trees in the bay out quicker as well. One of the things we're really proud of, I know our Public Works Director is proud of, is we hear the #1, I think, complaint we hear from council members and community members is a lot on sidewalks and concrete repairs. We do more now than we've ever done, but we're doing those as part of Complete Streets. But being able to actually contract in and bring in-house, have an in-house crew that can go do little curb repairs or shave down sidewalks or replace one section of sidewalk, do that so much more efficiently than contracting that out for those smaller jobs. And that's going to be 10 new employees that will be doing that every single day. We're investing in West Long Beach beach streets, bring that to the west side, and really activate on the West Long Beach beach streets program. We've got money for transportation safety improvements. We're adding parking control checkers so that we have additional support in everything from our preferential parking districts to our parks to nighttime shift to be able to deter illegal parking. And we're also looking to contract in our bike share program that's currently contracted out, and we've got one of the biggest bike share programs in the nation, and so be able to do that with city employees and provide even higher level of service. In the area of health, behavior, and wellness, we are investing in health equity officer position and public health professional for the health equity program, investing in our human dignity program and preserving that program, which otherwise would have lost its funding. We're investing in the sidewalk vending program for about $300,000, and that's part of the ordinance that the council passed. And one thing we hear a lot too is the ability to continue to rake our beaches. We rake our beaches every single day, but the volume of people who are now coming to our beaches, plus the storms that we've had, we're looking to add another shift so that we can actually clean up even more and invest more in what's called a barber surf rake. Area of digital inclusion and technology, our main priority will be cybersecurity. I think we all know the cybersecurity incident that happened last year, and that's a constant battle. You always need to be doing more, can't stay static, and so we're investing another $1 million there. We're also going to be investing in a new website. It's been almost, I think, 10 years since we redid our website and be able to provide additional services through a replatforming. So those really are the service categories. I'll go quickly through what we call our government categories because a lot of the work that residents rely on require that we invest in our employees and in our systems and structure. We're going to be adding a number of revenue positions to be able to look at everything from parking citation revenue to emergency ambulance revenue. We're going to be looking at our classifications of our city employees, some of which have not been updated since the 70s, and be able to update those. And also invest in ongoing racial equity training. We've got a number of positions that help our city council offices as they receive the thousands and thousands of calls for service. They take those calls and they get them to the departments, and so we're investing in both community development and in public works to get more bodies that can help the council do that work. And we're also increasing our language access program by $300,000. Elevate 28, we're going to get into the details on infrastructure pretty soon, but it's a 5-year program. It is the largest investment we've ever made in infrastructure in a generation. And that program last year really got built out and we launched it. And this year we're now adding about $174 million because we've been so successful in getting grants into our Elevate 28 program. So it's growing from about $750 million over 5 years to $928 million. And we're going to be issuing our second bond, and Eric will get into a long list of projects. You'll have to go quick, Eric, but there's a lot of projects. A big focus of this budget is maximizing and protecting revenue streams. So obviously we've got fiscal challenges coming up. We're going to be investing in business license inspection on transit occupancy tax, investing in parking control checkers, looking at our data analytics for things like our ambulance revenue streams, looking at our cannabis program, make sure we're maximizing cannabis revenue. We're adding a business service equity officer to be able to focus on revenue recovery, and also business license inspector programs. Mayor's talked about this a lot, but we have two major areas for opportunity of innovation. One is streamlining our hiring, taking our existing employees in both civil service and HR, putting them together and being as best as we possibly can to increase the rate of hiring, increase preferences for our local residents, and bring that talent into Long Beach and lower our vacancy rate. And then, of course, investing in our oil platform, oil futures, and what that looks like for us as a future. Grow Long Beach, we've talked a lot about that. That's a multi-year program with 52 different ideas on how to raise revenue, so continuing work there. And then also next week, please pay attention. The council is going to be considering a local ballot initiative that could be put in front of voters. Obviously, we're facing some tough times coming up, and what we hear from our community is they love the services we provide. We want to be able to provide residents a choice, so they'll have a choice at the ballot box to invest in some local revenue measures that could keep things the way they are, or if not, and that's their decision, we would then look at some reductions next year. So again, that's kind of in wrapping up. That projected shortfall is unlikely just to go away. It's not going to be resolved without intervention. We are being proactive. We're thinking about how do we create our revenues that we have control over. We're also going to be offering that ability for residents to make some actions themselves, and then be proactive and keep down costs and address that budget next year. So with the budget timeline, we basically kick it off today. It now transfers from the city manager's proposed budget and the mayor's recommendations to the city council. They are ultimately responsible for passing that budget, for getting the compromise, hearing all the different input, and passing a fiscally responsible budget. And we expect budget adoption or meetings to happen in August and budget adoption September 10th. And so we please get involved. I know this is a lot of numbers, a lot of work, but it really is important. Find the things that you want to engage on. Attend budget hearings, attend budget oversight committee meetings. We're going to be out in the community, attend those meetings. You can do it from your own home. You can fill out digital comment cards and send us in your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. And so in closing, we're a city of many, many accomplishments. I'm proud to be your city manager and lead this team. We've got an incredible group of elected officials who help set our policy. We are a full-service city who provide a whole bunch of important services. We've maintained resources, invested in core services, and we've got incredible employees who are committed to doing that work that helps people's lives get a little better every single day. I am really proud of our strong fiscal management that starts with our mayor and council setting really strong policies. And then we have partnerships from everyone from our auditor to our city clerk and attorney and civil service and harbor and utilities, all of which come together and help us out. So I will turn to Eric. I know this is getting long, but he's probably going to go about 6, 7, 8 minutes just to talk about some of the amazing infrastructure that's happening, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Thank you, Mayor and City Manager. So I was told 15 minutes, then I was told 10 minutes, then I was told 8 minutes, and then now the City Manager said 6 minutes. So I'll do my best here. I first want to thank both the Mayor and the City Manager for this opportunity to talk infrastructure. Those of you that know me, I love talking infrastructure. I love talking public works for the city. Even when I'm getting a haircut, or when my kids are playing in the playground, or when I'm taking a jog around the neighborhood. I love when I'm stopped and somebody wants to talk about potholes or tree trimming or curb and gutter issues or their local community center, etc. But we in Public Works work really hard to improve our city, to improve our infrastructure, but we cannot do our work successfully without the partnerships from the community and other city departments, including our city manager's office, our police department, our fire department, financial management, the city attorney, the city auditor, the clerk, the human resources team, our community development departments, our health teams, our parks and recreation and marine department, economic development. I'm sure I've missed some, I'm sorry, but it really does take a village to deliver all these amazing improvements throughout our entire city. And none of this would be possible without the direction and without the resources that we get from the mayor and city council. So a huge thank you to them for allowing us to do this amazing work. But what is this amazing work? So I'm going to highlight a few projects that we did this current fiscal year. We have a lot to be proud of. I'm only highlighting 6. I can highlight hundreds, but I'm only going to focus on these. And I'm going to start with just some of our street improvements. From the top left, we have the Market Street and Long Beach Boulevard intersection. All of Market Street has been completed. To the right of that, we have the duck pond that was mentioned earlier, a beautiful renovation of that facility that's going to provide a place for recreation, both passive and active, for generations to come. And then we have, to the right of that, we have an intersection of Alamitos and Ocean Boulevard, one of our many street improvements. At the bottom left, we have the new and enhanced Admiral Kid Park playground. It is being visited by hundreds and not thousands of kids every week and enjoyed. Then our Kraken slurry seal team continues to do amazing work. They're out there every single day, as long as it's not raining. When it's raining, they're cleaning culverts and storm drains and helping us keep our streets from getting flooded. And then there's a lot of sidewalk work and ADA improvements. Bottom right-hand corner shows one of the pictures of a recent area that got done. Infrastructure improvements really is one of many different functions that your public works department works on, and we do a lot. In fiscal year 24 alone, we got 137 lane miles of road improvements done. I'm going to repeat that. 137 lane miles. That is a lot, but some of you would say that is not enough. What about my residential street? What about my major street? It's coming. We're doing more roadway work than we ever have, and we continue to increase our capacity. So we're really proud of some of the proposed changes in the budget to continue to developing our teams, to continue to do more and meet the expectations of our residents. But in addition to streets, we also do a lot of bicycle lanes. We completed 7 miles in fiscal year 24. We are going to be completing the Artesia Grade Boulevard project later this fall. We're really excited about that. We repainted 52,000 linear feet of red curbs. 52,000 linear feet. Don't take your calculators out. That's 9.8 miles. And then we also slurry sealed 9 million square feet of asphalt. So keeping our streets improved. We did improvements to the Queen Mary, and we installed 600 new ADA compliant ramps, repaired $4 million of sidewalks, repaired over 50,000 potholes. We're coming. There's more out there. We trimmed 20,000 trees, removed 300 tree stumps, planted 140 trees, replaced 3,300 traffic signs, and much, much more. This year, as part of the FY24 budget, we're also looking to complete 7 park improvement projects, 6 public facilities, 3 beach improvement projects, and 1 parking facility projects as well. I'm going to go quickly through some of these pictures. Just shows the transformational work that our teams do every day. A picture truly is worth 1,000 words. And whether it's an alley, whether it's a local street, whether it's a sidewalk or a curb ramp, we continue to do more right-of-way improvements, including street work, than we ever have. And we're really proud of our teams. And when our teams get to your neighborhood and complete the project, you can tell the difference. It really is amazing to go from a dilapidated infrastructure to a nice renovated one. As we continue to work on our street improvement works, we also continue to building our teams. We mentioned earlier, and we're going to continue to do this work. I did want to highlight that we did just recently receive an award for the Loins Drive project and our balance of different users of the public right-of-way, from bicyclists to pedestrians to vehicles. And so I'm really proud of the team for the work that they put in on all of these major corridor projects. We are approaching completion of the Artesia Grade Boulevard project. We're really excited. That's been a project many, many years in the working. Those $40 million corridor enhancement projects do not get done overnight, and they do have impact. So I want to thank the residents of North Long Beach for being patient with us as we continue to transform that corridor and make it better. We also are in the process of completing the Davenport Park improvement project. We are more than doubling the park space that are available in that part of the community. And you can see from the pictures, we're almost done. We look forward to celebrating. This is just one of the latest park improvements that we are delivering on behalf of the city. With Measure A, we have our 5-year plan. I believe is the best 5-year infrastructure investment plan in this country. And I believe, I really like how we are very transparent on where all the dollars are going. And every year we come back to the council and we appropriate the dollars required for us to deliver that plan. So here is the list of dollars by funding source of the amount that we're appropriating as part of the fiscal year 25 budget. Here are the categories by our capital improvement programs. You see a lot of the investments is where they're going. Here is the investment categories. And then here's our map. Here's what shows where all of our projects are located. Over 170 total projects. Over 170 total projects to date. That is increasing as we continue to be successful leveraging our local funds and bringing in more state and federal dollars. The number of projects sometimes do increase or get bigger from an overall financial investment standpoint. So the big change that was mentioned earlier this year is that we are adding $173 million to the overall plan. And the large majority of that add is from external funding. We've gotten a total of $151 million in external funding. So this is something I'm really proud of, that our citywide teams has been working really hard to maximize the amount of funds we bring in from the state and federal government. And we are being very successful, but there's so much more room there. So leveraging every single local dollar that really helps us to implement the improvements that we need to keep improving our community. So in addition, we do have more applications out there. We have over $1 billion in grant applications pending federal review. So as we are successful in bringing in those dollars, you'll continue to see this plan increase. So what are the projects that we're adding? You see the list here. These are just a few. This is part of the over 170 projects. I believe we're at 178 to be more specific right now. That's been added. And then here's how we're just a breakdown of the difference and where you see the 173 million. And then we have the total overall plan now is a total of 928 million. And then the breakdown by category. So every single one of these project categories has a series of projects under them. They're all available on the website. They're all available. All the information is there. We have a brand new website that we've completed, our Elevate 28 website that's live. I hope the public goes to it. If you have any questions, reach out to the Public Works Department. We are here to help answer them. And I'd like to hand this back to the mayor to conclude the press conference.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric. And the website is lbelevate28.com. We've never had a capital improvement website with insights and cut sheets and all of those things so you can track the projects in your neighborhood. And that is incredible that our capital infrastructure plan over 5 years was 2 years ago, it was $500,000, and today you're approaching $1 billion by leveraging and packaging our local dollars to get a greater return. That's the innovation that's going to be needed for us to get through this big transition in our city. And if you saw throughout this Core 4 budget, you saw the theme of partnerships and leveraging opportunities come up time and time again. Our city manager talked about it. Our city manager's office is doing the homeless strategy and partnerships office. Much of the progress he made over the course of the past year was partnerships, right? Partnering with the county to open up the new shelter on 702 Anaheim. All these partnerships. There's partnership. This spirit is being taken on across all of our departments. I even want to recognize Allison King in the health department with the housing authority. She's got an innovative partnership that she's working on, as referenced in the mayor's recommendation, with United Way, the Fund for Guaranteed Income, and the housing authority called the Long Beach Housing Pledge. And so we'll see another innovative partnership come forward in the next year that really allows us to deliver better services for our residents while being mindful of the budget situation. And so, again, this is the beginning of our budget process. It now will go to the city council and out to the community. We want to be clear. The work to prepare for tomorrow begins now. It's incredibly important that we maintain a level-headed, fiscally responsible approach to our budgeting process. We're focusing on core services, and we're intentionally including many items that the community has asked for in the budget, and we're placing a focus on growing revenue for the future. That's what we have to do as a city. Every part of our city is represented in this budget. Every part of our city is invested in this budget. We're investing in all corners of our city. I want to send a message to the city council. Take this, begin your deliberation, but we need to make sure that any changes to this budget does not grow our structural deficit. I personally will be watching that. I won't support any additions to this budget that will increase our structural deficit. If we hold the line, if we continue to make strategic investments, we'll create a resilient and sustainable future for our city with a secure financial future, and we can pass it on to the next generation in a better condition than it was when we came to it. So thank you so much for being here for this part of the presentation, and now we'll transition to the next part. Which is question and answer.